A traveller of both time and space. Indeed. Time to get your thinking caps on. This final piece tonight will have lots and lots of questions. And it's a fairly detailed piece. And I hope you enjoy it. In recent shows, we've been speaking on the possibility of the God here is an artificial intelligence entity, which I know disturbs many people due to their ensconcement into that program. And it is a difficult subject to approach, as so many people have put major parts of their lives into that program and are reluctant to look at it objectively for fear of being fooled. But the fact that you are triggered by our information on religion is telling that person something is not right and something they have to address, not me. And I guess they don't call me the trigger man for nothing. But the evidence and common sense questions against that program has mounted up over the years, and to all intents and purposes, it remains a mystery and, dare I say it, a conspiracy theory. With so many of the world's people now in turmoil, no matter which religion you abide by, the great question is, where is your God whilst all this carnage unfolds? As the Jewish Dr. Avni found out in the piece earlier, they don't even protect the so-called chosen ones. Is the God an AI creation, and how does that work if it is? Well, first you need a projection screen to collect all the energies and thoughts, of which we are massively ignorant of both, of our energies and thoughts in relation to how they work or what is their end product. There is a reason the religious entities ask you to pray to the sky. They have the secret knowledge denied to us of how and where our energies and thoughts travel to. Your praying projects the energy and thoughts upwards to the sky. What if there is a collection entity that collects all the energies and thoughts, then converts them to feed off the energy whilst collecting your thoughts to turn it into data? So your praying, P-R-A-Y-N-G, I-N-G, becomes praying, P-R-E-Y-I-N-G, does it not? And this sounds all very computer-like, doesn't it? Which is how AI actually works. Your thoughts build it and your energy feeds it. So if this AI was actually the God, does this explain as to why your God is not helping its own creation? The AI essentially mirrors your own processing. It's all it can do. This is the same as the computer programmer. It inputs data, and to the computer, the programmer is its God or creator. The next question is the AI sky god projection screen of what we commonly call the veil? What is the veil? Well, having felt its presence one day due to my own abilities, I decided to test it whether it was there, and yes, I found the veil. a very thin line that is translucent and cannot be seen with the naked eyes, but can be seen if objects pass through it. That experiment I tried several times to believe what I was seeing, and thankfully some of our other members have witnessed it for themselves also. But what is the veil? Well, it can be all or nothing. Some will see it as an anomaly, but others could see it as a whole other universe. It all depends on your position within space-time. The veil could literally hold a whole new universe, which boggles some people's minds, maybe most people's minds, because they will only see a thin line. But our perceptions and understanding of time, space, and our role in it remains very limited unless you go outside of that construct. The veil is also considered by myself as the electromagnetic field or grid, which can influence people in varying ways, particularly in the field of mind control. And sadly, from his story, it has been a more negative than positive engagement. Does the electromagnetic grid feed off of the energies that people put out into the ether? In my opinion, yes, it does. And this backs up more of my claims that the veil is or has been turned into an AI system that reflects back only your thoughts like a mirror. That mirror, which reflects only, gives you back what you relayed. It does not engage in a one-on-one with the one because it is inside the construct this world is bound by, which is again like a computer. You press enter and enter then carries out that command. The computer has no free will to give you a different outcome. And perhaps that explains why it appears we also have no free will to chart a better, less violent and greed-based planet. What if the AI does not comprehend that we the people would like some help? It would explain as to why all the saviours of the past and present never did a damn thing to aid us in here, wouldn't it? Why are there saviours? Because that is what the people ask for. Someone else to save them. Newsflash, it doesn't work. No Jesus, no Allah, no Lord, no ETs is coming to save you, or some internet-based Marvel character either. But we presume mirrors are one way, but some mirrors are two-way, that are used in interviewing rooms, for example. What if, on the other side of the veil, there are beings watching us, but that mirror is not allowing us to view back? How would other beings be able to do that, you may well ask? Well, people have spoken about the 9 realms, and Midgard is the middle realm, which would make us level 5 for those of you who haven't frequented John Hopkins. there would be 4 realms below and 4 realms above. And if that is true, then the veil above could be realm 6, would it not? What if the underneath layer of realm 6 is the projection screen for the AI Sky God? We know what we call the veil is collapsing, both from above ground and also below ground, like a compression, as above, so below. That would mean realm 4 is coming up from below. Does this explain the increase in earthquakes and plates moving? So is it the veil collapsing or the realms collapsing, or both? Now the space, as we call it, between the universes is only separated by a very thin membrane, microscopically thin. It cannot be seen, but it can be felt if you venture through it into the next universe. Now the membrane can react or rebound on you based on your own frequency level and also your ability to travel. We, unlike other species, are multi-dimensional time and space travelers, which means with the right frequency, soul development, belief and trust, we are capable of traveling to not only other planets, but other solar systems and also other universes. And this is why I say your own development and essence is worth way more than pieces of paper with numbers on. Fully grasping that will lead to a massive leap in your own understanding and also soul development. We can travel at any point of time within the day, often multiple times, without ever realizing it as such. We call it daydreaming, and often say the most obvious things, which are clues, yet we so often dismiss them. All of you have said many times over, "Oh, I lost myself there and I had no idea where I was." You do realize you were traveling and in part out of your vessel in that moment. Where you go and how far you travel depends on your own soul development level. As I understand it, as you progress, you get a better cord, known as the silver cord. People often go in and out of the astral levels during the day and night. How many of you have had dreams of people you know, buildings you recognize, but it's not exactly the same, is it? Or you drive down a street familiar to you and a building is missing or out of place. That is the astral level. That is almost a replica of here, almost, but not quite to close observers. I have seen whole roads disappear, half a town disappear, and also observed a town jump back in time. And often these events go unnoticed, but again, not to a close observer. People do struggle to pay attention within their day-to-day lives, and that is why so many miss the subtle changes. People often complain they don't remember their dreams, or to use the correct term for dreams, spirit travelling. It is the time when the spirit travels and the vessel rests. The vessel essentially shuts down and runs on a low charge until the spirit returns and recharges the vessel, and that is when you awaken. But there is often a short period of time between the low charge and then to the full recharge of the vessel, and small snippets of memories of your activities during sleep comes forward. They are clues for your awakening time. And yet so many ignore the clues also. If you remember, write it down and refer to it at a later date. What never made sense then will do in the future. That happened to me with the GNA details. I had no idea what it meant, neither did the people I spoke to or any internet searches either. But 2 years later, I connected the dots and the information package all unfolded before my eyes. Now, most people wake up every 2 hours. That is the general length of time a spirit can be out of body. Lucid dreaming is you engaging more of yourself or your vessel within that framework of activity, hence why you remember more. And the gist of this explains the multi-dimensionality of us all. We can be in more than one place at any given point in time and space. Being here and in the astral is the most common version. So, are we one person or multiple people dancing within and outside of time and space? What would happen if we are dual people, or more than two? This brings in the shadows, and also the altar, which is another version of you. With the veil or realms falling, what if there is a happenstance of you being replaced by another version of you? Would you recognize it? The answer is no. But other observers would. And the reason I say this is because I have observed several people switch out to other versions of themselves recently, and by and large those changes have not been the better versions. What if the changes are not external of you but internal, and the predominant altar or shadow of you is unveiling before other people's eyes, but not you? What if the other version of you is from the veil or realm 4 or 6? Is it possible to switch out or switch bodies? If you have met yourself in dream time, you have confirmation of the other version of you. Now, we have spoken about the shadow and inner work for about 6 years now on this show as being important. The importance of that now is all around you. Many losing the plot, riddled in fear, playing old world games and programs, all following an authority that barely defies belief, their levels of crass stupidity. Adults acting like children, as we have warned. It's all there to see now, yet we predicted it 6 years ago. How many people have phased out of your lives recently, particularly the last few years? Is that part of the shift? Where those people are like a phone signal. If you're not in the right area, no signal is observed. Will that happen to most of the people here? Will their signal be lost in the mist of time and space? I spoke of phasing and shifting being key words from 2020 onwards. Are we now seeing the evidence of that? Are we seeing dual people? Due to people not integrating their shadow sides, or has their altar been activated by the increase in frequency or the G-cloud? I said in 2015, if there was aspects of yourself you didn't like, now was the time to change that, as the mask would fall and people would see the real you. Which version of you would you really like people to see? Which version of you currently do they see? There is an old Native American saying of people being of two wolves. One is nice and one is not. Which one wins? The one you feed is the reply. The dual people have chosen that I have witnessed are showing their bad side, because that is the one they feed. Anger, wrath, envy, sorrow, greed, arrogance, ego, self-pity, lies, false pride, superiority, guilt, or regret are some of the emotions that produce the bad side of a person. Will the dual people switch back? That's their choice and not our decision to make. At some point, will these dual bodies or phasing out people reach a nadir? Will there be a blank slate and a shift, an event, or a cut-off point? Time will tell, and maybe 2024 is a possibility. So is the winter solstice this year. Maybe then the movie reel of life and its projector will slide off the reel. Will humanity put that reel back onto the other reel and replay it back like a loop again? Or will we become the writer, director, and starring role in a new movie that is inherently better than the last one? May it be, as darkness falls, your heart will be true. This has been